and you need to start creating that paper trail. He better Cash App or Venmo you. Make sure your friends know to take those screenshots. So for the love of God, don't be getting on nobody's yacht. It's just giving sex trafficking. Don't do it, sis. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Malikah and I'm an expat and travel content creator, and today we are talking about how you can stay safe when traveling, specifically when you're traveling to meet a man or being flued out. A lot of the girls are doing it, and not just the celebrities and IG models, and unfortunately there can be disastrous consequences. There have been countless stories of women mysteriously found dead in foreign countries after traveling there to meet people, specifically men, and most recently a model was found dead in Ghana after flying there to meet a local billionaire and his friends. And of course, the cases that you hear about are only when the woman in question is someone who is famous, a celebrity, someone Instagram famous, or a model. There are probably thousands more that never even make the news. Now, if you're watching this, you're a grown-ass woman, so do what you want to do, and I am in no way, shape, or form encouraging anyone to do anything, nor am I judging you for making an adult decision. This video is only going to be about how to stay safe as possible if you're putting yourself in a situation that is as risky as flying out to meet a man that you don't know. So here are 7 safety tips to stay safe when you're being flued out or traveling with a man or to meet a man you don't really know. Number 1, get records of his personal information. So, story time here. I met my husband online. We were international long distance for about a year, like a little over a year when we first started dating. We matched on Tinder when he was home on vacation. We had a few short dates, and then he left and went back to the country where he was working. So maybe after like 3 or 4 months of long distance dating, after only those 3 dates in person, he decided he wanted to surprise me for a trip and have me fly out somewhere to meet him, and he wasn't gonna tell me where. Now, if you have someone who wants to fly you somewhere and not say where, and you two have not been seriously involved, maybe you only met once or twice in person, if you've met in person at all, the answer should be a firm no. But we were pretty serious at that time, so I told him yes, and eventually he told me we were gonna go to Cartagena, Colombia. So I mentioned to my dad that I was going on vacation with my new boyfriend, and he of course freaked out, like flipped the fuck out. And so what did this amazing man do? He sent me a copy of his passport, and he told me to give it to my dad so my father would know who I was with and know that I was gonna be safe. So if you are planning to travel with a man that you don't know very well, especially to a place where you don't have any friends or family, make sure you have some identifying information on this person for your own security. In my case, I didn't have to ask because he actually volunteered it, but if you ask and that man says no, that probably tells you everything you need to know. Number 2, consider booking your own trip. The best course of action here is to discuss an itinerary, flights, hotel, come up with a total amount, and then just have him Venmo or Cash App you so you can make the reservations in your name and in your name only. This gives you more control and autonomy over the trip. It ensures that you will have your own room and he will not have his name on it, so he will not be able to access you without your permission. It gives you control over the flight so you can change it if you need to at a minimal expense. It also prevents him from doing some fuck shit like canceling your return ticket and leaving you stranded. And again, if you tell him you'll be more comfortable with this type of arrangement and he refuses, then that is your red flag and you need to stay your ass at home. Number 3, don't go if you can't afford to get back. Now, obviously you want to go and have an amazing time and hope everything works out beautifully. But just in case things do not go your way, you need to be sure you have a way out. So if you do not have the funds available or the available credit to book your own taxi to the airport and your own one-way ticket home, do not go. Now, my first tip should have given you the control that you need over your itinerary and your ability to change it or modify it if you need to get out. But if that plan doesn't work and he ends up booking your travel instead of just running you the money, be sure you have funds on the side to get yourself home safely. So while you may be spending the weeks before your trip buying cute outfits, getting your hair and nails done, do not blow all your money because girl, you may need it. Number 4, create a paper trail. Once you agree you are going to leave the country or even your city or state for a fluid out situation, you are already acknowledging and accepting some degree of risk. So the best thing you can do is make it as easy as possible to trace you and hold someone responsible if shit hits the fan. And you need to start creating that paper trail before you leave for the trip. Print out all of your communications, all your DMs, all your texts, the itinerary, his social media profiles, everything you know about him. Leave those copies at home with a friend that you trust. And even though I'm not a huge fan of oversharing on social media, it can actually be your friend here. So if you're out, tag the clubs you go to, tag the restaurants you visit, get pics of you guys together, and make sure you're sending things to people at home periodically. And if you're posting your stories, they'll disappear, so make sure your friends know to take those screenshots. That helps to create an undeniable chain of events, and it's proof that you were together where you said you were, what people thought you would be, and also it builds a chain of where you guys might have actually been seen out together. Number 5, avoid boats. Now, it would not be unusual for a lot of these destinations or situations to involve some kind of yacht party, which of course sounds amazing, but it's all fun and games until you find yourself trapped at sea, so for the love of God, don't be getting on nobody's yacht. Do not put yourself in a situation where you do not have an escape route, or you don't even have any way to know where you're going. Like, at least if you're at a party in someone's hotel room or house, you have the option to walk out the front door. A lot of hotels and clubs will have established security, they'll have cameras, there'll be a lot of people around who would see you coming and going. But if you're just hopping on someone's boat and like going off sailing into the ocean, you don't know who else might be on there. Nobody knows that you were on there, and you don't have any control over where they will take you or when you will get off and get back, if they even decide to bring you back. And to me, that's just giving sex trafficking. Just don't do it, sis. At least if you're driving somewhere, shit starts to go to the left, you can take your chances tucking and rolling and like running off into the woods and trying to find a road or something to get back. But on a boat, none of that is possible. So if you get invited to anything involving a boat, especially at night, just politely decline and blame it on having severe seasickness. And speaking of driving, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but check for the child safety locks every time you get in a car. That is something you should do even at home when you're hopping in an Uber or a taxi. If you don't know how to recognize what a child safety lock looks like, I will pop an example on the screen. They look pretty similar on most make and model vehicles. Number 6, make sure you have working communications. So super important, while you're on this trip, hopefully living your best life, ensure you can communicate with both your friends and family at home and local law enforcement if need be. If your phone is unlocked, you can pick up a local SIM card with a basic text and data plan and use that while you're on your trip. Or if your current phone is not unlocked and your carrier won't unlock it, just buy a super cheap unlocked phone and use it as your travel phone. It doesn't have to be anything fancy like the latest iPhone, just anything that can get a data plan and like a local SIM card. And you really don't even need a lot of data since this really is your emergency communications phone. You can do most things when you're on Wi-Fi, so really any basic package will ensure you can communicate in the event of an emergency. And number 7, limit your drinking. Last, it is important to keep your wits about you and make sure you can always be aware of your situation, so be careful with how much you are drinking. You don't want to get too drunk and messy to the point where you have lost control, because that just makes you a lot more vulnerable. So limit how much alcohol you consume and definitely say no to drugs and other substances. Either do them at home with your friends, that's your business, but it is not worth the risk if you're doing them in a potentially unsafe situation or one in which you have less control. And you definitely don't want this to turn into locked up abroad, do you? So that's it, ladies. I hope these tips help. I hope if you decide to get flued out, you'll have an incredible time and you will also stay safe. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below. If you have a flued out story that you want to share, let me know in the comments. I might share more of mine down there or in another video. And of course, if you find this helpful, please check out some of my other videos and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.